Patriots, welcome to the Vongiano Predicament. My name is Steve Vongiano, and I'm here to bring you the real, unbiased news, okay? I don't got an agenda. I'm not trying to push anything on you. I just want to give you the facts. Listen, is it my fault that Republicans are always good and Democrats are always bad? Not directly, no. All right, guys, I got a lot of news to bust right out to my gynecologist. That's what I call that's what my fans call themselves. It's very organic, okay? I got some big news to give you, but first, let's talk about this. Just yesterday, it was announced, former President Obama got the COVID. He tweeted, just tested positive for COVID. I've had a scratchy throat for a couple days, but I'm feeling fine otherwise. Michelle and I are grateful to be vaccinated and boosted, and she has tested negative. And it's a reminder to get vaccinated if you haven't already, even as cases go down. Allah Akbar. I just gotta say, I find this whole thing incredibly exciting. It's great. And it's not that I want Barack Obama to die, okay? I don't want him to die. Nobody killed Barack Obama, okay? Any merch you see with my face and a little speech bubble that says, I want to kill Barack Obama, that is bootleg, and I do not receive all of the proceeds. It's just that nowadays, everything is so serious. All anybody wants to talk about is World War III or the green M&M not being sexy anymore. Just really serious stuff, you know? I just miss the good old days of a couple months ago where we talk about how COVID was medical apartheid and asking for a vax card before you went to Applebee's was more or less the Holocaust. And, you know, I wouldn't say that no one should ever get vaccinated, but we all know what I was getting at. You know, it was fun. Bring back the good times. So yeah, celebrate good times again, y'all. Barack Obama, he comes out and he's like, let me be clear. I got 7 vaccines up my butt. That's right. Get vaccinated. They put it right up my butt. And now I'm strong enough to bottom for my husband, Michael. Man, we got to get Obama back in office. Remember how fun that was? Oh, man. We'd be like, he's Kenyan, and he's gay, and he's Muslim, and he's an illegitimate president. Then he'd be like, why, I never. And then he'd just fly to Little St. James Island with John Legend. It rocked. Joe Biden's just depressing. Honestly, it's like elder abuse. They just make him like give whole speeches without a nap, and he's never once allowed to sexually harass someone or use an antiquated racial slur. Just let Joe Biden ramble for a few hours about how much cooler cars were in the 60s. Then he cops a feel on an intern and calls an Italian a grease monkey. It would be amazing. So I have to assume Barack Obama's going to be fine, because COVID is no big deal, and taking any precautions against it in any way, shape, or form is pretty much just Cambodia in the 70s. He's probably already fine. He's probably already over it. He's probably hanging out in a chalet with the rapper Common and trying to summon the demon Babeth to deliver him baby blood platelets. Fine. But let's just consider this little story as a reminder of better days. Denying COVID, mocking anyone who got it, and then losing our goddamn minds when they more or less round up to black dude gets elected president. But Americans don't care about COVID anymore. That shit's done. We've got bigger fish to fry. Often, literally, we eat a lot of fried fish in this country. It is not. Our cardiology in this country is, quite frankly, a fucking nightmare. But we got big problems. No, not that whole war in Eastern Europe thing. That's dumb. I don't want to wade in on that. I'm a moderate centrist, as you know, and I like to kind of play both sides of that war, and I definitely will at no point criticize Vladimir Putin for reasons not at all related to a video he released of me dancing to a Ricky Martin album. Don't worry about it. No. Here's the big problem facing America right now.
Gas is expensive as hell, and it is Joe Biden's fault. So is the war, but I said we're not talking about that. Vladimir Putin lifts weights.
As all my gynecologists know, I live in beautiful Columbuston, Ohio. Actually, not true. Beautiful Columbuston is a separate suburb about 20 minutes away. I live in what is legally called Abandoned Factory, Columbuston, Ohio. A little bit different, not beautiful. We actually outlawed the concept of beauty to gay. We are America's #1 ranked city for Down syndrome-related obesity, and #4 for obesity-related Down syndrome. But one thing we have always been proud of in Columbuston is our cheap gas. You see, we invented the concept of fracking here in Columbuston. We did it on accident when everyone just flushed their toilets during the first commercial break in the MASH finale. And, well, the ground shook, the heavens wept, and the sky just rained down the black, thick oil of life. Shortly afterwards, we converted all of our local public schools into refineries, which we later shut down because we were convinced they were teaching critical race theory. Turns out we were half right. A lot of the workers on their lunch break would just sit in a circle and be critical of other races. Sounds like a lot of fun. I do hope to work there someday. So in exchange for letting the oil and gas companies straight up, rape us, they swore, okay, that gas in Columbuston would never go above $4.20 a gallon. Hell yeah, blaze it. That was their promise. We shook on it. Okay, and we swore we would never put out the oil fire burning underneath and above City Hall. Take that, Centralia, you pussies. Gas is important to America. This country was built on fossil fuels, also on slaves, but slaves are kind of the original fossil fuels if you think about it. You know who needs gas? The proud construction worker who's building that new building. The proud excavator who drives that transformer-looking thing. The proud Uber driver who picks you up after you do an edible and decide to go see the new Batman movie, but it is too dark and gritty and you cannot handle Paul Dano's face and you need to get out of there. They are all proud Americans. Except the Uber driver. I think he was Pakistani. These people, they work for a living, all right? The vascular class of America out there, building up their powerful forearms, delivering for Postmates all day. We need to make sure they have cheap gas and make sure they never get socialized healthcare, because if they do, Joseph Stalin will fuck your grandmother. If he didn't already. Joe Biden, he doesn't care about these people. Not one bit. He probably doesn't even know what Postmates is. If you hand Joe Biden a smartphone, he probably just throws it at a woman and says, "Take that, flapjack." And that's amazing, and I'd love for him to be my grandpa, but he's not helping the country. Since Joe Biden allegedly took office, the price of gas has increased 27-fold. I think I am not going to learn math. It is very liberal. Back in April of 2020, gas was at like $2 a gallon. It doesn't matter why. No one can remember why. Don't look up why. Donald Trump deserves the credit, and also Vladimir Putin was afraid of him because he was a steely badass. Trump, he made sure the gas stayed cheap so these powerful vascular men could drive their big trucks to the work site and be like, vroom, 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 and also threw mud as a hobby. He was a great president. That's the point. Trump's base were working people, okay? None of them owned a boat dealership. All of them painted boat dealerships. It was very important. Joe Biden's base, they're not working people. They live in big, quite frankly, Jewish cities. They take the subway to work, and we all know trains are gay unless you're autistic. Okay? They work in liberal bookstores where everything is divided by gender that they also doesn't think it exists. And if they don't stock Dave Rubin's new book, they are violating his free speech. And I hear a lot of you saying, but Steve, but Steve. That's what you sound like. But Steve, what could Joe Biden do to make gas cheaper? It's not like he just has a button he could press. First off, how do you know the entirety of Joe Biden's button situations? Donald Trump had a button that brought him Diet Coke. Joe Biden has presumably swapped that out for some kind of mint julep button. They got buttons coming out the wazoo over there. Just start pressing them. See what happens. Maybe gas gets cheaper. Maybe we start a nuclear war, which would result in gas getting cheaper. It's kind of win-win. But also, there's a little something called energy independence. Side note, we need to do a video where Bill Pullman does like that Independence Day speech, but at the end he goes, "Today is our Energy Independence Day." And then he looks at the camera and winks and goes, "Vote Trump DeSantis 2024. I bet he'd do it. Pullman seems like he has a lot of time on his hands. Energy, independence. That means weaning us off of Russian oil and Venezuelan oil and Dutch oil. The Dutch got so much oil just from cheese. We could run this whole goddamn grid just off of Gouda. We need to drill, baby, drill. We need to find oil here in this country. As I mentioned, that's what we do here in Columbuston. We find our own oil, and we are running out rapidly. We are looking for more dinosaurs to kill. We have not been successful so far. But we can't just look at Ohio, no matter how rich and vibrant the state is. No, we have to look elsewhere. Wyoming, Texas, try Rhode Island. Fuck it. Also, we should probably invade Iraq again, which was a terrible thing to have done in the early 2000s. Hillary Clinton is a monster for having done it. But now things are different, okay? Back then, gas was cheap. And also, MTV showed music by white artists. We were killing it. Back when Joe Biden was elected in January of last year, he immediately put a stop to the Keystone XL pipeline. And that meant that American oil workers no longer had easy access to an endless supply of Keystone Light. They cannot do that job sober, okay? If they don't drink like the equivalent of a six-pack every day, they decide to go to grad school, and then we got no energy independence. So Joe Biden needs to reopen the Keystone pipeline, okay? Keep that shit flowing. Also, start digging for oil everywhere. Doesn't matter. Just take a shovel. Just go to a random place. Start digging. All right? Also, he needs to admit that he stole the election and he needs to get Donald Trump back in there. Because quite frankly, I don't know how much time Trump has left. He eats like 3 filet-o-fish a day. His entire body is just a war between mercury and cholesterol. And someday it's all just going to liquefy into a goo like Ron Silver and Time Cop. That's the easy answer. It's the obvious answer. So I don't expect the woke Biden administration, the Wyden administration passing on, to enact it in any way. No. They're too busy trying to figure out what gender they are or if it's possible to give the girl Ghostbusters movie 6 stars on Letterboxd. They're disgusting, and they're not going to fix this country. So we got to do it ourselves. Now, I'm not saying you should vote for Republicans. That's not my style. I'm a moderate centrist, a milquetoast fence sitter. But you should not vote for Democrats. You also should not vote for third-party candidates. You also should vote for Republicans. I'm a moderate. Alrighty. Thank y'all for watching. You guys are the real heroes, braver than any troops. Please, 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 please fucking do it. Please, dear God, please, please like and subscribe. YouTube is trying to censor me just because I tell the truth. And also, last week I did just upload a camera rip of the new Spider-Man movie to my channel. So YouTube, censoring conservative and moderate centrist voices. Stay tuned. Tell your friends about the show. I'm going to be back real soon. And until then,
Joe Biden needs to just start pressing random buttons.
Shut up and sit down.